Are you too old to have a career in music? Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? Brandon here from KDMR Music, the channel making you a better musician through videos about music marketing, music strategy, and general advice videos just like this one. If you're new around here and you're interested in that type of content, consider subscribing. Now, this video really is based on a question that I got in my email a few weeks back. And the gist of it was, what chance do I have as an older musician at making a career out of this, right? And so the simple version of that is, am I too old to start a career in music? Now, yes, music is generally seen as sort of a young people's game, but we've seen several artists like sort of start a career at some time and extend their careers well into their 60s, 70s. Basically, as long as they're alive, they are music royalty, right? But that's the example of someone starting young and growing old with the audience. But what about you who wants to build an audience from scratch and say you are 50, 60 plus, right? Are you too old? Is it too late to get started? Well, the short answer is no. The short answer is no. And the long answer is there's an audience for everyone. Now, this does come with a unique set of challenges, though, so we're going to talk about that. But we do want to let you guys know this video is sponsored by Bandzoogle, the first and only website platform built by musicians for musicians. Now, Bandzoogle's got low-priced monthly plans that start at just $8.30. And they've got all sorts of features, right? You can build a beautiful website using one of their templates. You can kind of fill in the blanks with a template. Anybody could do it, no matter how old you are. Super simple. And you don't sacrifice any functionality. You can sell your merchandise, sell your music, have links to your streaming services. And what's great is Bandzoogle doesn't take a commission on your sales, unlike a lot of other website builders. Now, you can get started with Bandzoogle for free at bandzoogle.com for 30 days. And if you like it, use the code DREAM and you'll save 15% off your first year subscription. So thanks to Bandzoogle for sponsoring this video. Now, that sponsorship plug kind of takes us right into our first challenge of being older and trying to build a career in today's music industry, right? Everything is online. Now, if you're watching this video, you're already web savvy enough to do what you need to do to get stuff going, right? And there's going to be research, but everything is online. The way you get your music to fans, it's not CDs anymore. It's not so much hand-to-hand sales, although there is a place for that. But almost everything that you've got to do is online, from putting your music on Spotify to reaching out to people for booking shows, to reaching out to people to cover your music in press, to building your website, to showcasing your music so you can sell it, selling tickets, everything, almost every single thing that you need to do is online. And I know that's a bit of a challenge because a lot of older musicians are musicians in the pure sense, right? You know how to play an instrument, you know how to sing, and your love is going out and touching a real audience, whether it's at a coffee shop or an open mic somewhere, or, outdoor festivals, bluegrass festivals, things like that. These types of people are generally the older musicians that have these types of questions, right? And that tangible aspect of building a music career is what they live for. And the internet can feel intangible, right? No matter how many fans you have, right? Like, for example, this channel right now has like 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. And while I know that's a big number, that's a ton of people that could fill up, whole stadiums in some areas, right? When I'm sitting here doing this, it doesn't feel like I'm talking to 30,000 people. It doesn't feel like I'm talking to anyone. It feels like I'm just talking to a camera, right? And so that's a sort of a challenge as well. Everything's online. You might feel a bit disconnected from your audience, but you got to know that the only way through it is through it. And there's definitely great stuff on the other side of it. Now, along with everything being online, sometimes there's just a challenge of, wait, where do I start? So I'm going to give you a few things you need to look up at the end of this video. But again, if you're already watching me, then either you've got the internet researching skills or someone is helping you. And that brings me to my next tip, right? Because everything is online, you are going to want to have someone there to help you out. And I'm not saying this at all like, oh, old timer, you need a young person to do your internet stuff. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that with all the information that's available, right? Even people my age and way younger need like a guide to help them through, right? Because you can end up in these rabbit holes where one day you're learning about music publishing, one day you're learning about website best practices, one day you're learning about SEO, and it can quickly be overwhelming. So this is really a tip for anybody at any age. If you don't have like a laser focus on exactly what you want to do, if you still have questions about the best strategies moving forward, find someone to ask those questions. Now, that could be like a marketing coach like myself. That could be someone in your local area who has done it already. There's a lot of different ways that you can kind of seek advice, right? Even down to listening to like podcast interviews and things like that. But you're going to want to seek out not just information, but a guide to help you wade through the information and help give you a game plan. Now, the last challenge I want to talk about that comes with this whole internet era of musicianship is just the pace. The music industry operates at a breakneck speed. There are new songs that come out every single week, and honestly, every day. Now that we're in the streaming era, people aren't so much focused on New Music Friday, which used to be New Music Tuesday. There's new music coming out every day, and the fans' attention span is like super quick, right? As quickly as I snap my fingers, we could be on to the next trend, on to the next song. And that doesn't tend to sit well with some people, especially older people, right? Because you like to work on your song, like to perfect it, and then you like to play that song. Like one of my old professors was a jazz musician, and he would have like this set that he did, and he would just kind of play the same song over and over, like for different audiences, and he would riff on the audience and add different tags to it. He was a blues singer. He did black jazz and blues, and it was awesome. But like that type of performance doesn't necessarily lend itself well to the way the market works, right? Like an artist like that doesn't necessarily perform well on streaming, but they perform great live, right? So think about the pace, think about the way the market works, and you got to decide if you want to jump into the market as if you're an artist of today, or are you going to just try to find an audience, understand that it's going to be a smaller audience than, you know, some of the bigger stars or whatever, and operate that way and still make a good living, still be able to make the music that you love and play music the way you love to do it, right? So again, that's another thing you want to think about, right? Just the pace at which the industry operates. And there's some decisions that you got to make. Now, I told you I was going to give you some things that you need to kind of look up, decisions that you've got to make when it comes to being an older person interested in the music career, right? In the music industry, we've got like the sort of major leagues, and that's like the Beyoncés and I don't know, the Drakes and Jay-Z's or whoever, right? You got those people. And then we've got what I call the middle class of musicians. And that's who I teach on these videos. I'm teaching people who are just starting out, who may not have the aspiration to get signed to a record label, who may not want to be, you know, performing on Saturday Night Live or Jimmy Kimmel, right? But they do want to make music that they love, and they do want to sell it to an audience that also loves them, right? And so with that comes a conscious decision to operate differently than the so-called norm. And that's a decision that you've got to kind of make as well, right? You got to understand that, you know, the major label system isn't necessarily looking for you unless you can demonstrate that you've had major successes, right? If you can sell out a certain size venue, then major labels might still come calling, even though you're older. If you've got a song that breaks like streaming records, right? And or ends up on a bunch of playlists, then yeah, labels still might reach out to you. It's not out of the question. But for most musicians, not just older musicians, but for most musicians, that's not going to be the case. You can find good success online. You could find good success on streaming platforms, but chances are your best success financially is going to come from live shows, selling merchandise, selling physical products. And those are things that kind of don't exist for the major label artists, at least not at first, right? Now, if you're trying to go down this path, there's a few things that you need to research. And first is how the industry works. A great resource is All You Need to Know About the Music Business by Donald Passman. I think we've got to be on like the 14th edition of that book. But that book is written by a famous entertainment lawyer who basically tells you everything you need to know about the business, right? Another thing you need to research is marketing, music marketing strategies, or direct to fan marketing strategies. These will teach you the things that, a lot of musicians don't know about reaching people online and kind of converting them into fans step by step by step. I've actually got a training that I'll link to in the description below that tells you how to turn strangers into super fans and the 5 levels of fandom in between. So that's a great resource for you. But you're going to want, like I said, you want to know how the industry works so that you don't get screwed around by somebody offering you a contract or something crazy, right? You want to know how music marketing works, but then also you want to take some time to really decide who you are, right? If you don't know who you are, no matter how old you are, you can quickly get lost in this industry, chasing fame, chasing someone else's success that was never meant for you. So those are a few things I think you should think about at any age if you're considering pursuing a career in music. But to answer your question, no, you're not too old. You're not too old. There's an audience for everyone. There is an audience online of 60-plus-year-olds looking for music. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So if you make music in the style of Ronald Isley, do it. There's people looking for that. There's cruises all the time, right? There's all sorts of venues for that type of music. The world is not lost on you just because you're older. Don't let anyone tell you any different. But with that said, hope to see you guys in another video soon. If you have questions for me, leave them in the comments below. Who knows, you might see your question in a video. But until then, be safe, be well, keep dreaming, and work hard to make those music business dreams your reality. Peace.